Take part in an expansive choose-your-own-adventure game that requires you to survive your 9 to 5 while also not succumbing to the evil, underseated belly of the capital corpo world. This is Inhuman Resources, a literary machination. And is it worth 5 minutes with an indie?
All I'm saying is people spend all this time complaining about the AAAs when you have all these amazing indies.
Let's open it up. 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 This shit is bright. All right, Inhuman Resources, a literary machine. I've never seen a collection of words leave me so confused on what it is I'm about to do. Please enter your name. Brian Griswold. There are 3 deaths. The first is when the body ceases to function. The second is when the body is consigned to the grave. The third is that moment, sometime in the future, when your name is spoken for the last time. That's deep. The phone call. Is that how you spell phone vibrating? Scree. An all too familiar screeching reverberates inside your brain. The noise comes in waves. The pain follows suit. You try your best to ignore both, but the mere fact that you've acknowledged the awful sound means it's already won. Your phone's alarm is simply much too loud to ignore. Defeated, your eyelids peel apart like sheets of rotting Velcro, blinking back a bad night's blurry haze. You lie in bed, awake, against your consent. The room is almost pitch black, save for the intermittent flashing of your phone's screaming screen. A rancid, if routine stench of unwashed bedsheets bids you a bittersweet good morning. You're home, for better or worse. Mostly the latter these days. Just once you wish you'd wake up somewhere else instead. Just once you wish time would ask permission before racing ahead. But your phone doesn't care about what you want. The insufferable screeching drills deeper into your skull. You throw back your dirty blankets, blindly reaching for the misbegotten beast. A slab of thumb-smudged plastic feels comfortable in your palm. Most call the device ancient, but to you, it's cozy. It's familiar, like an old, if outdated, friend. No oversized touchscreen, no graphics card for mobile games, no constant access to so or so G network. Just a simple tool with a cute antenna that still allows you time to disconnect. You've always appreciated the old and the analog, despite the wider world's obsession with digitized progress. There's sincerity in physicality, a warmth to an object's weight. You cling to this relic as long as you can. Sensible upgrades be damned. You fiddle with the phone, desperate to stop the alarm. But no matter which button you press, the shrieking will not end. That's because this isn't your alarm at all. It's your ringtone. Squinting in the darkness, you barely make out the caller's ID. It's your aunt/landlady, technically speaking. Hopefully just your aunt today. A woman is exhausting enough when she isn't asking for rent payments, no matter how overdue they are. Still, should you really ignore a call from the one person still willing to support you between jobs? What we doing, chat? I'll let y'all answer the first one. What we doing? We'll flip-flop. Reject call. Damn. I can't deal with this right now. Hang up on her. You run your thumb over the decline button, yet, as if swayed by your own sleepy stupor, it smudges the wrong key. You hope whoever invented the speakerphone setting is either unhappy or dead. Ideally, both.
Así mi clamo.
Hey there, sweetie. Sorry for calling you out the blue. Hope I'm not interrupting lunch. The scratchy facsimile of her bombastically condescending voice greets you on the line to their end. No mistaking your dear auntie. But what's this about? Lunch? You flick on a light and glance toward your microwave's LED clock display. A shameful number stares back at you from the room's abyss. 1:29 p.m. You wince and make up a half-baked lie, pretending to talk with your mouth full. Your aunt doesn't seem to buy it.
Sigama no suku.
Well, I'm sure you're very busy with job applications today, so I'll get straight to the point. Do you have any idea when you'll be able to send me last month's rent? I know money's been tight lately, but it's already the 31st. One missed payment is bad enough, but two? Shit. Landlady it is. You feel yourself deflate, glancing to the tower of rejected job applications, standing proud and precarious upon your messy desk. The top sheet almost grazes your modest apartment ceilings. Your aunt suggests you should print each refusal, claiming they'd make an eventual hiring all the more rewarding. You found that harder and harder to believe, ever since the letters started to outnumber the dollars in your bank account.
Así mi clamo.
Sweetie, do you have some kind of estimate for me? I would really need an answer today. You have no choice. Beg for more time to pay again. You swallow your pride. Say I'm sorry. Stop pointing fingers. The blame is on me. I want a new life. I want it with you. If it feels the same, don't ever let it go. Gotta believe in the spirit of love. Oh, my bad. You swallow your pride. It goes down easy. There isn't much left. For the 100th, 1000th, millionth time, you swear to send your aunt the money the second you get a steady paycheck. Until then, there's no way you can conjure cash out of thin air. An uncomfortable silence lingers over your phone speaker. After several torturous seconds, a disappointed sigh comes through.
Tomó saca.
Sweetie, I let you rent that place to give you a second chance, not to keep enabling this shameful, do-nothing behavior of yours.
Jimena Gomi.
Honestly, I'd be more than willing to forgive delays if I knew you were actually trying. But you can't expect me to believe you've been pulling yourself up by the bootstraps and giving this job hunt all you've got when you've been living in a pigsty for the past year. Pigsty? You deflect the woman's accusations, blabbering in desperate denial. But as your eyes drift over the sorry state of your apartment, your ramblings soon turn to tragic silence. You've been immune to the stench for a few months now, but no amount of time will ever make you blind to the altars of wretchedness your neglect has erected. On the floor, at your desk, in the kitchen, or even in your fridge. Which one, folks? Let me know, chat. Which one? On the desk. At your desk. Fly swarm styrofoam containers amalgamate themselves in awkwardly unstable modern art installations. Your largest one can only be referred to as the Leaning Tower of Takeout. Oh. On the floor, Crumpled stacks of crusty laundry litter the unmopped ground like landmines in an active war zone. In the kitchen, filthy cookware overflows from your sink. Bathed in rancid dishwater, a layer of film has formed on the surface, thick as the crust of a creme brulee. And even in your fridge, the outdated contraption hums like a thermonuclear lawnmower, even though you know damn well it's not keeping anything cold. Maybe ketchup packets, if you're lucky. Pigsty or not, there's no denying that this whole unemployment business has been taking a serious toll. One that's gone on long enough for your aunt's pity to become well-deserved contempt. Well, what do you have to say for yourself? It's not your fault those stupid companies won't hire overqualified geniuses. Society's failure to accommodate gifted minds is extensive and well documented. From Bill Gates to Albert Einstein, many talented individuals only achieved renown after escaping the confines of institutional education. And you obviously are destined for similar greatness. So what if you dropped out of college after flunking a bunch of courses? So what if you can't hold a steady job even if it's the most mindless minimum wage work imaginable? That's not your fault. It's because the system is broken. Your aunt doesn't sound convinced.
Así mi clamo.
Honey, all those people you just mentioned actually achieved something after dropping out. You can't keep choosing to sit idly at life's crossroads, waiting for someone to show for you. Otherwise, people won't think you're a genius. They'll think you're just another quitter with an inflated ego who chose to run away whenever anything remotely challenging comes their way. You need to eat yourself a big slice of humble pie and get it together. I have acquired college dropout. You brace yourself as the woman prepares to deliver her most frequent, most frustrating spiel. You could probably repeat it word for word if ever you were held at gunpoint.
Jimena Gomi.
Remember, sweetie, in our world, choices matter. The big ones and the small ones. We can't always take those decisions back. We can't control their consequences either, which means we have to choose carefully. You most certainly have not been doing that. But if you have any intention of getting yourself out of this mess, you need to start making the right decisions, and soon. You hang your head and nod, gulping down your last trickle of self-respect. Hearing this speech frequently doesn't make it any easier to hear.
Binge Matani.
Anywho, enough of that. The real reason I'm calling is because I might have an opportunity for you. You can tell by her inflection, she means a job opportunity. Your reaction is practically Pavlovian. You salivate at the thought of your unrelenting financial woes finally coming to an end. You grip the cell phone tighter, aching with anticipation.
Penda Vachu.
See, there's this problem employee at our company. He works at one of our local branches right next to where you live. But the man has a terrible attitude and is even more terrible when it comes to, well, whatever it is you think we do over there. You picture her limply waving a wrist in some vague, dismissive pattern. More of the highly confidential stuff she can't share but brags about anyway. Not that you're entirely sure what your aunt actually does for a living to begin with. Something to do with human resources, maybe? Needless to say, we'll be laying off the little sourpuss as soon as a fitting replacement is found, but we need that replacement fast. Company has a big business deal coming up. We can't afford to be short on staff right now. Luckily, I happen to know a certain someone in dire need of a job, and this position happens to be entry level. No major qualifications needed. It even comes with a sterling letter of recommendation from yours truly. Now, this won't be an easy job. Supervisors are very strict and the anxiety has a way of following you home, but so long as you nail the interview, you're basically guaranteed stable income for as long as you need. Smyrna Corp isn't prone to random layoffs. So how about it, sweetie? Shall I schedule something for you? I'll let you choose, chat. What we doing? Decline the work? Bro, I don't have a job. What are you talking? Can someone who has to pay bills chime in, please? Be poor? What? You knew this was too good to be true. There's no way you're subjecting yourself to all that anxiety for mediocre pay and horrible working hours. Still, you managed to answer her proposition with a courteous, "No thanks." Your phone emits a high-pitched whine as your aunt lets the answer simmer. Something rattles on her end of the line as though she were shaking in anger. When she finally deigns to speak again, she hardly sounds like the woman you know.
Sciacunigiata.
See, this is why you can't always trust chat with shit. Look at this. "Listen here, you little shit. I just told you to start making better choices. Either choose to take the goddamn interview or I'll choose to break every fucking bone in your miserable little body. Do I make myself extremely clear?" Crystal, you swallow a fist-sized lump that is formed in your throat and your actual fists begin to shake. There's no bombastic condescension, no passive-aggressive judgment this time, only a cruel ultimatum and the most genuine intent to inflict bodily harm that you've ever heard. Whether or not your aunt intends to make good on her threat, you quickly stammer that you'll at least attempt an interview. Tensions fade as fast as they flared. Your aunt's tone returns to normal, though a note of shame clings to her sighing voice.
Enjo Kateme.
"I'm sorry, sweetie. This whole business partner situation has me under a lot of stress. But I swear, I wouldn't offer you this job if I thought I could trust someone else." Without missing a beat, your aunt hammers at her computer's keyboard, drafting you an email. You clamber your way out of bed, tripping over day-old takeout and mounds of dirty underwear as you rush towards your laptop.
Menagomi.
"I've booked you the earliest appointment I could possibly find. You should get an email with the time, address, and job description soon. Be sure to read everything carefully and do not be late. Mr. Burgard will skin me alive if I send him another unpunctual idiot.
Sciacunigiata.
Oh, and don't let anyone find out you're a dropout, okay? Mr. Burgard might get some funny ideas about how to fix you." Fix you? Rather than offer answers, your aunt whispers farewell.
Pinjmatani.
"Good luck, sweetie. Hope you'll forgive me for this someday." Click. The line goes deathly silent, save for a droning dial tone. You get an urge to call her back, but the ding of an invitation appearing in your inbox catches your attention first. Uh-oh. The interview is today, at 4 p.m. sharp. No less. You curse under your breath, rushing to shower and get dressed. Your stack of rejection letters gets knocked over by your charge and scatters across the room in a whirlwind of standard issue responses. You beg with every fiber of your being not to come home with a new failure to add onto the pile. All right, let's start our timer. The waiting room. The packed full city transit bus comes to a creaking stop right in front of an old building you've never seen before. Shoving your way past crowded commuters, you step onto an empty sidewalk. The vehicle roars away, fading into the misty afternoon and leaving you utterly alone. You briefly wonder if getting off here was a mistake. You review your aunt's documents, poring over the civic number, street name, and postal code, as though every character were the cipher to some street secret code. But the time you finish your third revision, you're forced to concede this must be the right address, but it's not remotely what you expected. Nestled between two gleaming skyscrapers sits a much smaller, much stranger building. What up, Tommy? There's the unnerving facade. Glazed gray brickwork and pale vein marble unite to form a vast web of extravagant, monochrome patterns. But despite all the details, the sum total still gives off a sense of cold, calculated purpose. Almost like an anarchic graffiti artist were hired to redesign a palliative, I've never seen that word in my fucking life, a palliative care center. As you climb the front steps, a set of circular gold-tinted portholes stare down at you. Man, fuck this building. Let's just go see what's inside. The local branch of Smyrna Corp is only 4 stories tall, yet feels impossibly imposing. It's caught between outdated aesthetics and timeless sensibilities, somehow both outrageous yet invisibly subtle, as if it's meant to be forgotten at a passing glance, and to haunt those who gazes linger. You suspect you may be underdressed. Your most confident instilled piece of clothing is the hoodie you bought on your first day of college, a plush, cozy sweater inscribed with your aborted alma mater's prestigious name and logo. Him wearing a hoodie to his job interview is wild work. For you, wearing it is an act of defiance, a proclamation that the esteemed institution was unable to contain your full potential within its paltry confines. Others intend to interpret it as a far less charitable act, especially once they realize you dropped out 4 years ago. Yeah, I said 4, but the answer is yours. 4 years. It don't matter. It's cool, and haven't held a steady job since. Regardless, what you got will have to do. The hour of your interview approaches and you won't have cash to afford a better outfit until this job is yours. Reach for the knocker and bang it against the door. Bang, bang, bang. The bronze object booms against the iron gates even harder than your thumping heart. Moments later, something clicks and a latch comes undone. The doors groan themselves open, inviting you inside. You step into the building and are greeted by what seems to be a 5-star hotel's reception area. The room is utterly massive with high ceilings that would rival a Renaissance church's cavernous belly. Its windows let no sunshine through and no fluorescent light bulbs fill it with their pale glare. Sounds like a bold strategy. There are just low-hanging chandeliers and an array of green glass banker lamps, bathing the room in burnt orange. Upholstered sofas and coffee tables dot the space like islands, forming a winding path that leads to the room's distant depths. There, a woman stands behind a desk, flanked on each side by grillage elevators. The sharp machine gun clatter of her mechanical keyboard echoes across the room. You appreciate the old and analog, but Smyrna Corp's apparent fondness is downright ridiculous. Hopefully the receptionist won't feel the same way about your subpar outfit. Pretend to be confident, stride over like you own the place, or adjust your crappy clothes and approach meekly. What we doing, chat? Please don't answer wrong, because so far, y'all been answering wrong as shit, and I don't trust y'all with job interviews. Like, y'all be like, well, just go over and stick your finger up your nose, and that way they know that you're someone who handles gold. Thank you, Tommy. If you actually get this job, your first paycheck could be spent on a less humiliating shirt. The dim lighting becomes dimmer the further you go, and thick shadows close in on you like claustrophobic walls. Wall-to-wall carpeting squishes under your feet, and an unfamiliar ammonia aroma assails your flared nostrils. Whatever they use to clean this place smells strong enough to double as a bioweapon, but still isn't enough to erase the lingering stench of cigarette smoke. The off-putting odor does suit the outdated decor, though. Except for those unsettling sculptures carved into the room's concrete support pillars, disturbing shapes that assail you from all sides, emerging from the shadows like pretentious interpretations of 21st century demons. We got gargoyles on the left of him, headless nude bodies contorted in pain. We got gargoyles on the right of them. A bleak rendition of what you assume to be Babel's Tower has been built out of steel girders. And up ahead, we got human skulls whose scalps have exploded. That's crazy. What happened to good old-fashioned gargoyles? Unsettled by your surroundings, your eyes drift back to the woman working the reception desk. There are letters engraved in the wall above her head, spelling out a slogan in twinkling silver font. Memori perpetuus mutatio. That's that shit from Assassin's Creed. Memory, perpetuity, change. Or memories perpetually mutate if you give the grammar an overly charitable reading. You're surprised that freshman year Latin class actually turned out useful, but it's even more surprising to see a corporation with a slogan like that. That's actually a pretty dope slogan. I ain't gonna hold you. Memory, perpetuity, change. Memories perpetually mutate. That's kind of fire. You hoped your aunt's documents would have proved insight. That says provided, but it's cool. Instead, they were mostly full of vapid statements about connecting modern businesses with industry-leading talent, or some such variation of the standard corporate tripe. You wave hello at the receptionist, but she don't even flinch. Her gaze remains glazed over, wholly focused on her work. She's younger than you. First thought, maybe 30, likely not quite. Sickly pale with sleep-deprived bags under her eyes, each one darker than the acrylic of her tidy black turtleneck. Her hair is knotted into a dainty bun, her fingers devoid of polish or rings. They move across her keyboard like demented tap dancers. Yo, whoever wrote this, they know what they're doing. Wait, no, not her keyboard, her typewriter. It's a really, really old one, made from brass, black plastic, and way too many moving parts. A relic from the 1800s that looks like it barely scraped through both world wars, and you thought your laptop was getting old. There's also a small desk bell glimmering on the counter. Maybe you should... I'm gonna say hi like a normal person. You meant to whisper a polite greeting. Nervousness turns into a shout. Damn it. The woman's head snaps forward as though hit by an electric shock. She flashes you a beaming, not quite pearl white smile. Welcome to Smyrna Corp. Do you have an appointment? The words barely seep through the woman's gritted teeth. Her grin is so tight, it hurts to watch. But there's no trace of frustration. She's the dictionary definition of too friendly, made uncomfortable by all what the hell she's doing. Unsettled, you stumble your way through an explanation of your aunt's referral. The receptionist replies with a nod, squinting as she reads the writing on her typewriter's latest sheet. Ah, of course. We've been expecting you. I'm afraid Mr. Burgard is running a little late this afternoon. He'll need a few more minutes until he's ready to speak with you. But you're more than welcome to peruse our visitor's handbook while waiting. She gestures at a set of nearby couches and a table chock full of company pamphlets. But you're more surprised to notice someone else already sitting there. A young man with a bitter look etched into his furrowed face. Could this be... Alright, chat, that's on you. Another applicant for the job or an irritated customer? Shit. Your aunt never mentioned competition. And if they turn out to be competent, you could be in big trouble. Your bleak musings are cut short by the receptionist's unpainted nails tapping at her name tag. I'm Melusine, by the way. I'll call you as soon as Mr. Burgard becomes available. In the meantime, please, let me know if you have any questions. With a grateful, albeit embarrassed nod, you walk away and slump into an old-fashioned sofa. Melusine's rickety typewriter clacking away once more. The couch's cushions feel quite stiff, or maybe your stress-clenched back does. Considering the ferocious stare down you're receiving from the stranger seated across from you, it could well be the latter. The steady tick of vintage clock draws your gaze. Its hands point in opposite directions. 3:42. 18 minutes left. Good thing you came early. You still have time to prepare before your interview, but probably not enough to do everything you want. You'll have to decide where to spend it. Carefully. All right. Here we go. This is where things, I think, like this decision is going to affect how this whole shit goes. I'm going to ask Melusine some questions. Despite her extreme fatigue and even extreme stress levels, the woman definitely seemed eager to lend a hand. And what better way is there to learn about your new workplace than to ask the person paid to greet visitors? You return to the reception desk with an awkward wave, embarrassed to be disrupting the receptionist's work so soon after leaving. Yet rather than appear annoyed, the woman looks up from her typewriter with a sigh of relief, the air seeping through her vice-tight teeth with a shrill tea kettle whistle. Oh, hello again. I take it you have a few questions for me? As disclaimer, please be advised that Smyrna Corp staff cannot disclose any confidential information to members of the public. Therefore, while I'll respond to your queries to the best of my ability, there may be certain details I'm forbidden to discuss. Thank you in advance for understanding. The uneasy first impression Melusine gave you worsens with every word she speaks. And not just because she keeps talking without blinking her bloodshot eyes or unclenching her goddamn jaw. Even though the receptionist's responses seem professional and her tone is perfectly jovial, something about her speech pattern seems awfully urgent. Almost like she's reading the words off a script with a gun pressed to the back of her head, not thanking you for understanding, but begging you to. Is she scared of getting in trouble by letting something sensitive slip? Or is she just trying to secretly warn you about the office's working conditions? So, what would you like to know? All right, guys. Come on, chat. Hook us up. What we doing? Chat, I need this job. You don't understand, son. It's hard in these streets. These tariffs is crazy. Let's try to get some info out of her to ace this interview. It's not like you want to land Melusine in hot water, but you flop too many job opportunities by playing nice. You need every edge you can to get a steady paycheck. Playing coy, smiling broadly, you ask if she has any tips to make a positive first impression in the upcoming meeting. The woman looks startled by your question, her grin tightening even more as she mulls over her response. You suddenly realize her teeth are strangely flat, as though worn down by years of grinding. Well, the best advice I have for any candidate is just be yourself. Smyrna Corp prides itself on a diversity of creeds, cultures, and ideas combining to form its rich, thriving workforce. But, regarding Mr. Burgard, he's a man who, highly values those capable of following rules. Our work involves a lot of private information and non-disclosure agreements, you see? It's very, very important that you respect any directives he gives you and answer all his questions honestly. That shit's making my shit hurt. Not exactly a riveting revelation. You gently urge Melusine to tell you more, hinting at just how life-changing this job could be for you. It doesn't take much exaggeration to embellish that truth. At first, the receptionist remains unfazed by your blubbering pleas, but then her tense expression softens, revealing unexpected melancholy. What kind of world would you rather live in? A utopia, where no one is allowed to be different? Or a dystopia, where people can remain unique? Conformity is a small price to pay for world peace. A world where no one can be themselves sounds like a real dystopia. I'm gonna go with damn. This is tough. It's this is tough because, like, when I be in traffic, I be feeling like conformity is a small price to pay for world peace. But when I be safely at home, I be like, we should let people be themselves. Until I hear them motherfuckers in that Honda Civic at the traffic light, and then I'll be like, conformity is a small price to pay for world peace. Utopias are inherently impossible. Perfection for one person often excludes the ideals or identities of others, sometimes even entailing the erasure of cultures and creeds based solely upon difference. For all the messiness it entails, a richer breadth of people and perspectives can only make the world better. You hear that, America? Listen the fuck up! Sorry. For a brief moment, you see Melusine's tight smile waver, her tired eyes suddenly twinkling with pleasant surprise. Even her voice loses its formal stiffness as she speaks with a comforted sigh. Yeah, I think the world would be better if more people thought that way too. You wonder if this is what Saint Sains really looks like, when her happiness is genuine. But you do not get the chance to wonder for long. As quickly as it vanished, the forced smile returns. The receptionist's insomnia-darkened eyelids flutter, blinking away her own unexpected vulnerability. Her teeth grind together, scared that she shared something that could land her in trouble. Sorry about that. Seems my mind's been wandering from lack of sleep. I've had long work shifts lately. Now, while I share your opinion, I think you should refrain from voicing such problematic interpretations of human society to Mr. Burgard. He highly values doing things by the book, you see, so be sure to remain as conservative and considerate as possible during his interview evaluation. Uh-oh. Evaluation? Your aunt didn't tell you to prepare for anything like that. Panic must be plainly written on your face because the receptionist is quickly to hush you. The same way would once a skittish... No need to be afraid. The fact that you're here to begin with means you're practically no way that you can actually fail the exam. Just try to please Mr. Burgard and everything should go just fine. Please him. But, if I can give one word of warning, be very careful with your answers. The questions you're given might seem fairly pointless at first, but their consequences are very real. Depending on what you say, innocent people could.
No spoiling the surprise, Miss Saint Sains.
A booming voice rumbles across the reception room, and Melusine stiffens as though struck by lightning. Clenching her smile tighter than ever, her heels click together like a soldier awaiting inspection. Another click is heard behind you, as the angry stranger on the couch stiffens the same way. Your reactions make no sense until you turn to face the voice, and then you too go rigid with awestruck shock. Standing in front of the elevator is, without exaggeration, the most massive man you've ever seen. He's taller than a fridge, twice as wide, and perhaps thrice as heavy. The pure white of his immaculate dentistry contrasts with his dark skin, which reflects the room's dim light like finely chiseled onyx. Beneath the perfectly tailored patterns of his elegant tweed suit, muscles shift with every breath, threatening to burst through the seams. His pale blue eyes focus on you as he speaks with a voice like velvet thunder.
My humble apologies for interrupting your enthralling conversation, friend. Our dear Melusine is sometimes a little careless when it comes to discussing confidential company matters, but I'll gladly sate your curiosity in her stead during our interview.
Interview, huh? This must be Mr. Burgard, your soon-to-be boss. Luck willing. The ding of an elevator is suddenly heard, and one of the grillage doors by the reception desk creaks open. The tweed behemoth saddles his way into the shaft. Packed tighter than tuna in a too small can, he beckons you to join him with a bratwurst thick finger.
Come along now. We've already behind schedule and can't afford any more delays. What's more, I frankly cannot wait to discuss your future with us here at Smyrna Corp.
Holy shit. He thinks you have a future. In that moment, Mr. Burgard's big, beaming smile is the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. Thank him and slip into the elevator. Ain't got much of a choice. It's a tight fit, but you manage to wriggle yourself into the lift by nuzzling up to your, hopefully, future boss. You apologize profusely for the cramped conditions, but he just laughs it off.
No need to be embarrassed. Happens all the time. Oh, and no need for all this Mr. Burgard business either. First name basis is fine by me.
Before the elevator door can snap shut, someone opens their mouth and screams. Oh boy! Wait! The angry-looking man you were worrying about suddenly drops to his knees, hands held together in prayer. An aura of danger that once clung to him has been dispelled by his blubbering supplication. Sir, I'm begging you, just give me another chance. I swear, I'll do anything. Unpaid overtime. I'll work on the weekends. I'll kiss your goddamn shoes if I have to. Just please, don't replace me. Mr. Burgard's only reply is a disappointed sigh. His bright white smile wavers and tangible contempt taints his otherwise welcoming tone.
Mr. Aguilar, you've had more second chances than I can count, and displaying such undignified desperation in front of a candidate set to take over your position is not an endearing choice. Frankly, there's nothing more I can or want to do for you, beyond offering the standard company-issued severance package.
Oh shit. This is the problem employee your aunt was talking about? The land being brought to slaughter? Also, you could survive on the paycheck they used to have? Part of you feels guilty, considering how desperate the stranger seems to be about being laid off. But another part is grateful that your predecessor seems to be such a mess. Maybe getting hired here will be easier than you first thought. Either way, Mr. Burgard's words have the effect of an ice pick through the heart. The once intimidating stranger collapses as though shot in the chest. His body ripples with hiccuping wails, his fist powerlessly pounding on the carpeted floor. Your maybe future boss clicks his tongue, more disappointed than disturbed. He turns to give Melusine a firm look and firmer orders.
Miss St. Sains, please ensure our former staffer behaves until his offboarding is complete, will you? I'll attend to him once I'm done with our guest.
The tired woman gives a nervous nod, rushing back to her typewriter as if nothing happened. The clacking keys are now punctuated by tears of a grown man. Obuya thumbs a few buttons and the elevator doors finally slide shut. Through cracks in the grillage gates, you see the receptionist giving you a small wave, mouthing a worrisome farewell.
Mitagamoko.
Good luck. And as we say farewell to this episode of 5 Minutes with an Indie, we got a show we got to conduct. Wow. So my first thoughts, this game was titled Inhuman Resources, a Literary Machination. It's in the title. I should have known that this was going to be a narrative game so far. And with that being said, the world building that's in this game's literature is insane. I can accurately and adequately imagine every single setting, scene, and scenario that's taking place in front of me by how this text is written. Kudos to whoever wrote this, or whoever, I don't know if it was a team or a specific writer, so I'm gonna just say kudos to the entire staff themselves. Fantastic. The way that they're able to weave in lore plots that make you feel like, oh, that's going to be important. I just don't know how yet. And then they become little nuggets in the back of your head that you can go back to. Like, I can't shake that interaction with the receptionist. I also can't shake the interaction with the aunt. And I also can't shake the interaction with the ex-employee. Every single interaction you have with another character in this game is intentional and substantial, in that there's so many things being said without things being said, right? And to be able to get that across with no voice acting, other than the occasional, I believe I've heard some people speak Spanish, I heard some people speak French, I think I heard some people speak Japanese. I don't know what I'm hearing, but the game itself seems like it's gonna promise on the decision-making thing, especially when it looks like our biggest moment, the interview, is gonna go down. And judging by how this game has multiple, various, different types of endings, something tells me you can blow this interview and the game can end immediately. So I say all that to say, Goopy, what do you think, bro? Listen, I've never been more correct in trusting Goopy to handle things on this side when it comes to the judging. This game is definitely worth 5 minutes with an indie. And if you have a propensity to like books, like reading, like story and world building, this game is right up your alley. This is your boy BGreen. Don't forget to check out last week's episode of 5 Minutes with an Indie by clicking over here. And make sure you check out the next one. Like, subscribe, share. Let me know down below if you're a fan of literary narrative games. And if so, what's your favorite one? I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
All I'm saying is people spend all this time complaining about the AAAs when you have all these amazing indies.